Are the New Orleans Saints back? We're going to answer that question and have a conversation after the 26-14 win over the New York Giants. You're watching a late night edition of Saints Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Trace Girouard, and let's break it on down here on the show. The New Orleans Saints did take down the New York Giants in a much-needed win. I want to first start off by answering the question, are the Saints back? Sure as hell feels like it, man. Probably not. I don't know. But after this game, I'm feeling really good. And it's not just because we won, but it's how we won. And it's the players that stood out. And it's the things that you have been frustrated about that have gotten better. And I think that you are really, really seeing some nice growth, some nice development, and a really bright future being created right here, right now in New Orleans. I want to start off first by addressing the veterans first. I just got to say thank y'all, because you can tell how badly they want this team to succeed. You can tell that they want to be here. You can tell that they are an active part of the creation of Kellen Moore's culture. Alvin Kamara giving Kellen Moore a game ball after Kellen Moore did his entire post-game speech in the locker room, that's awesome. Like, cheesing ear to ear. And Alvin Kamara is not somebody who's super duper vocal. He's not somebody who's super duper emotional. It's really nice to see that. Demario Davis, hyped up. You saw the leaders, the older veterans, Cam Jordan, getting stoked for this win. And I think it's really cool. I think that part of this whole entire rebuild is really, really awesome. You have veterans who want to be here, who are actively participating and contributing to the development and to the growth of this team. Because although they may not be here for the next Super Bowl, they are going to be a part of the reason that you do achieve that. And I want to just say, like, the New Orleans Saints, although this was a team you should beat, it's the Giants. They're nothing crazy. The Saints aren't anything crazy. You should have beat them. And you did. That's awesome. That rocks in my opinion. And in my eyes, I see that you've hung in there with the Cardinals and with the 49ers, took them down to the last drive. You got your tails whipped by the Seahawks, but they look like they're a pretty damn good team. And then with the Bills, you hung in there almost the entire game. And it's really, really cool to see the evolution of this team and how they got to their first win. It took a while. It doesn't mean it's not frustrating. Doesn't mean it's not annoying. Doesn't mean there shouldn't be more. But it's really, really awesome to see this team get closer and closer, get punched in the mouth, fall back, take a really large leap last week in terms of moral victories against the Bills. And then they put it together. The offense and the defense played complementary football. Special teams didn't necessarily come through as much as you wanted them to. Kai Kroger only had to punt twice, which is, whatever, but would have liked to see him flip the field a little bit better. Blake Grupe needs to be better when it comes to making field goals. Two things. He went 4 of 6. You want to see him make more of those. It's really frustrating that he's now gone 4 out of 5 games where he's missed 1 or more field goals. Really frustrating. You also saw in the kick return him dive in front of the guy. I'm not kidding. Does like a full helicopter spin, gets the tackle, saves a potentially game-changing kick return. And, that was pretty cool. Then goes back out there and misses the field goals and stuff. It kind of gets shaken up towards the end there. In terms of an injury, I don't necessarily know what's going on there, but he got rolled up on at the last field goal attempt in which he missed. But needless to say, that part was frustrating. But you really got to see the emergence of some of the youth. You got to see really, really big days from Kool-Aid McKinstry. I mean, man, this guy had 2 interceptions, multiple pass breakups, multiple tackles. He was a key contributor to this defense. You really didn't hear much of Quincy Riley's name. That's a good thing. Means he wasn't targeted much, probably because he was covered. He had good coverage going. Or that means because he wasn't getting picked on and they didn't give up a lot of passes. And he also didn't have a ton of pass breakups because he didn't have a lot of opportunities. But I think that you saw some really good emergence in the defensive back room, especially considering Justin Reed did go down with a concussion. He left the game in the first quarter. Quick injury update around him. He was on the field after the game celebrating with his teammates, so that is typically a good sign that he's not dealing with anything major. Of course, we will monitor that situation, so make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications. Tomorrow morning, we're going to have Overreaction Monday. We're going to be live tomorrow afternoon. We're going to be giving you guys injury updates and any information you need to know coming out of this game because there is a lot to discuss around this game. It's honestly potentially, I don't want to call it franchise-altering win, but it's one of those you're like, all right, you got the first one for Kellen Moore. Now let's go and get more. So I will say subscribe. We got a lot of information, a lot of things to discuss, including injury updates on Justin Reed. We got to see what's going on with Chase Young. Cesar Ruiz, seems like things are going well with his recovery too. So a lot to discuss. Make sure you subscribe, turn on your notifications. But I also want to just get back to the defensive backs and the youth. Jonas Sanker, good God. Oh, my Lord. I think that this guy might have an addiction to the football like a junkie has an addiction to a needle and a spoon. It's truly incredible watching him go out there and be literally around every single play. Dude, he had a bunch of different plays today. He had multiple tackles that were really, really clutch. Demario Davis forces the fumble. Jonas Sanker picks it up, starts taking it downfield. So that's back-to-back weeks where Jonas Sanker has recovered or forced a turnover. Interception against Josh Allen last week. This week, recovers the fumble, takes it back, and puts the Saints in position to score. Cam Jordan had a fumble recovery. That was awesome to see the vet get active there. I think that he's still doing really good things for the Saints team. Kool-Aid McKinstry, Jonas Sanker, Quincy Riley. They really made me feel confident about this draft class. And I'll tell you one more person I want to see is Danny Stutzman. Pete Werner, it feels like he's getting picked on a lot in coverage. It feels like he's a player that, hasn't necessarily taken that step that the Saints paid him in hopes that he would. And I think at a certain point, you do have to consider giving Danny Stutzman more reps and giving him opportunities, giving him chances. He's a regular contributor in special teams, and he's somebody that brings a lot of energy, who brings a lot of youth, a lot of positives, and a lot of really interesting qualities to the defense. And I think he could be a massive, massive contributor on the defensive side of the football, whether it's next to Pete Werner, whether it's next to Mario Davis. I don't know how you rotate him in, but I think he needs to get rotated in more. I think that I want to kind of pivot here to Spencer Rattler, but I want to ask you guys the question and let me know what you guys think. Who's the MVP? I'm going to give my game ball to, I gave my instant reaction game ball to Kellen Moore because it was awesome to see get his first win. But I got to give this one to Kool-Aid McKinstry, man. This was a long overdue and a breakout, and this was a thing that needed to happen, and it did. And hopefully this now can lead to better things. And I mean, it's no mystery. He did not start off amazing in terms of this season, and he really broke out. I even put out a tweet. I said he's been very underwhelming. He's been disappointing so far this season. I guess he saw that at halftime and went and got 2 interceptions. And you know what? For that reason, I'm totally okay getting flamed on Twitter. I am totally okay being the one who bullied him into playing better football. But all in all, man, this really felt good in terms of a win. Spencer Rattler, I want to just snaps for him. Snaps for Rattler. You getting your first win as a quarterback. It took a long time. It was long overdue. It was a long time coming. There's multiple times last year that it could have or should have or you wish it did happen. And you finally got one. You did it. And now you got that burden off your shoulders. You got that weight taken off. So now you can go and get more. Now you don't have to worry. Just go and get your first win. Now it's just win. Now it's just go win. Go out there and ball. Go play good football. 21 of 31, 225 yards, 21 yards on the ground, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. And guess how many times he got sacked? 0. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the better pass rushing units in the National Football League in the New York Giants. Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Abdul Carter, a top pick this past year, Dexter Lawrence. I mean, that's a good defensive line. Their bread and butter is their defensive line. The Saints shut them down. You held them to 0 points in the second half. Shut them down. You created explosive plays. You finally created explosive plays. You want to talk about explosive? Rashid Shaheed, 87-yard touchdown. Finished the day with 114 yards and 4 catches, by the way. 87-yard touchdown in the second quarter. He topped 22 miles an hour in his max speed. And it was the longest play since Drew Brees hit Brandon Cooks against the Raiders in September of 2016. It's the longest play for the Saints offense. You want to talk about explosive? You got explosive plays today. You also did a good job limiting penalties. You did have some. I'm not going to sit here and say it was perfect. It was not great by any means. But one of my big keys to victory was play a cleaner game. You forced no turnovers. No turnovers. No fumbles. No interceptions. You won the turnover battle. You won the battle on third down. They controlled the time of possession, but not by much. You did more than they did. They had 8 penalties for 95 yards. You had 7 for 43. Big difference in the types of penalties that were called today. The New Orleans Saints found ways to win. The New Orleans Saints found ways to dig deep and come from behind and battle through mistakes. They had a really slow start to this game. And they finished so fast. Couple fun facts that Loco Lopez, shout out to him, he put together. Giants 2 touchdowns on their first 2 drives. That was the first time they did that in 5 years. All that for nothing. Pretty cool. There was also the first time since at least 2000 that the Giants have had a turnover on 4 straight possessions. You had 5 straight possessions today that you forced a turnover. Was it 5? Was it 4? Was it 5? Turnovers. 5 turnovers for the Giants today. Going back, I'm sorry, I had this written down and I lost it somewhere. So, last drives from the back forward. So, the final drive, 4th down, conversion did not succeed. Interception. Fumble recovery for a touchdown for 4. Fumble. It's going all the way back into the second quarter. You did a damn good thing today. The New Orleans Saints did a great job. They did awesome stuff. They limited Cam Scatterboo. They need to be better when it comes to pass rush. They need to get better when it comes to defending some of these passes, but they did some good things. And I think they're heading in the right direction, and I think there's a lot of reason for optimism. Now, the Patriots are currently playing in Sunday Night Football as we're filming this video. I think it's going to be a good litmus test to see you got one, can you get another? I think that's a good winnable game, and that's one of those that you're going to have to pay attention to because you get 2 wins in a row, all of a sudden start kind of getting the ball rolling, and you have some tough games after that, but, just takes one. Just takes one win to get another, then go get another, then go get another. I'm not saying the Saints are going to go win a Super Bowl by any means, but they are doing things right, and they are headed in the right direction, and I firmly believe that to my core. My name is Trace Girouard. Thank you guys so much for tuning into our late night edition of Saints Now by Chat Sports. If you want more content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notifications early tomorrow morning. Me and Lopez are going to be in the studio. We're going to be filming our Overreaction Monday video. Got a lot of fun things to discuss in that one. And then, of course, we're going to be live at 3 p.m. Central Time, so make sure your notifications are on and you join us there because we're going to be talking some injury updates. We're going to be talking some players that really stood out. I don't even know exactly what we're going to do, but we're also going to get your reactions and do our mailbags like we do every single live show. So I hope to see you guys there. Enjoy your victory Sunday. Wake up tomorrow. Enjoy your victory Monday. And y'all stay golden. We will see you next time.